Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. In this video, this is the long-awaited, long-requested, long work in progress top 10 for teams. We're going to go ahead and talk about this list and my intent for this list. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel, you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Few disclaimers about this list. This list is based on my experiences, feedback I've received from other people, things that I have seen in game, and what has worked well for me. This is my opinion and my thoughts on the teams that are in this game, and I feel it's a pretty solid list. So the way that I want to work this, the whole intent of this is to really kind of give you a good idea of which teams are really good, the tunes that you're going to need to unlock those legendaries so you can have those teams completed. But also, I went away from my single tune tier list. The last one I did was back in April. I know that was like 6 months ago. But really what I wanted to focus on was the teams. This game is more and more team-centric. And as we see more and more teams coming, we know that there's a bunch of new teams coming between now and sometime next year. We have the wrestler teams. We have a cyber team that still needs to be completed. We got some holiday teams coming. We have a boxer team coming. There are so many teams. That is really what this game is based around, are structured teams, and that's what this list is all about. My hope is that this will continue month over month as a monthly series, showing you the top 10 teams as we move forward. Now, as we take a look at some of these teams, these are the top 10. I don't really have them in the best order from best to worst when we take a look at number 1 and number 10. I feel where I have the first 5 at least are pretty well slotted. I do want to take a little bit more time with some of these other ones. There are some teams, as you can see down here, that I'm working on. So current team testing, really taking a look at the Pirates team and the Horror team. I do like the Horror team. I haven't done a lot of work on the Pirates team, so I'm going to work on that a little bit. The Horror team, I do not have Zombie Sam just yet. So I do need to do some work there. Need to unlock him before I really slot these two teams in the top 10 if they're going to be there. Also, some future updates down there. You can see at the bottom, I want to add team counters. Some of those we'll talk about today. I want to also talk about best gadgets eventually. The game modes that these teams are best used in. Some of them are geared towards, some of them have bonuses in war. Some of them have bonuses in arena. And then also eventually, later on down the road, all y'all know, as far as graphics go, I don't really do much with graphics. I can do a spreadsheet, but eventually I want to get a nice graphic together as well. So that's kind of where we are, the intent for this. And I really want to hear from everybody out there as well. What are your thoughts on this top 10? Who are your favorite teams? What works well for you? I also have some team alternates also that I want to talk about. So I'm just going to run down the list right here. We have the Imperials team. The Imperials team, like I note in here, is one of, if not the best team in the game. They are just a great all-around team. You got buff steals that lead up into massive damage. Those steals leads into heals as well as turn meter gain. You got speed down immunity. You have a tank buster, so there's ability in there where you do more damage towards someone who is taunting. So that works out well, especially when you have King Bugs who can place a taunt on a tune, and then you're going to do more damage on that tune and be able to take them out. So it is a great team to have. If you don't have them, make sure that you do. Their legendary is King Daffy. The required PTL tunes are right there. So Conqueror Taz, Captain Bligh, Outback Dog, Professor Prissy. Outback Dog is also part of the Hunters team, which didn't make the top 10. They're one of the newest teams that were put together. But it's good to have these PTL tunes, max them out so you can go ahead and max your legendary out so you can make the most out of those teams. The next is going to be Artist team. This is your dodge team. This team is almost unbeatable, but you got Jester Bugs, Daffy Miranda, Zoot Suit, Daffy there. You do have Tazinski, which we do not have a PTL for yet. We may see one coming down the road. So the goal for the PTLs, so the path to legendaries, is to eventually have a PTL for everybody. We'll see kind of how that works. They're slowly rolling them in. We do have a new one coming up with Anubis Canine. We'll go ahead and talk about that here in just a little bit. But as far as the artist goes, really, the things I want to call out here is just the dodge. The fact that they can avoid so much damage is the reason why they can punch up. You can punch up 100K and more with this team. Also, The Jester's Bomb Foolery here, I think, is just awesome because every time that he counters, he's going to throw his little jack-in-the-box out to do damage to everybody. So you have some consistent damage there, especially when you go up against some AoE teams. This team is really good on offense as well as defense. It is pretty much a plug-and-play team. It's an auto team. You can throw them on defense. You can throw them on offense and just auto the battles, and you're going to do well. It is a great team to have. Next is going to be Scoundrels. This is my Melty Bears team. This got a little bit of a rework. So we got Witch Doctor Hazel, Pig Kahuna, and Witch Hazel, along with Ronan Canasta. You can see the PTL required tunes there. So Cannoneer Canasta, part of the Pirates team. But this is a really fun team. This is a damage over time team. I like, as far as alternates go, I like Evil Granny and Devil Dog in place of Witch Doctor Hazel. So Devil Dog in place of Witch Doctor Hazel, and then Evil Granny in place of Pig Kahuna. Now, Pig Kahuna, I think, was a great addition to the team because he adds a healing element, which I think is absolutely awesome. But this team here, just a lot of debuffing, great counter to the Dodge team, good counter from what I hear to the Imperials team. I haven't really been able to test that too much. But great for the Imperials team, especially with Pig Kahuna, who can take away buffs, and that Imperial team relies on buffs to do more damage. So that's a pretty good team there as well. Next is this Magic team for number 4. The Magic team is just a fun team to have. This is an offensive team, not a defensive team. And this is the team that really slows your opponents down, removes turn meter, and it doesn't have a whole lot of damage output, but the fact that you have Egghead the Knowing in there, that just eliminates. His banish just eliminates. It doesn't matter how much health that your opponent has, just eliminates each one of them. So you don't need to worry about the damage here. The key with this team is slowing them down, removing turn meter so they cannot do anything, so they can't go. So your team can wait for Egghead the Knowing so he can go ahead and banish and take out your whole enemy team. I've been able to punch up with this team over 100k, almost 200k with this team. So it is a very good team to have. Mastermind teams, you have some massive damage there. Archon is great with this team because attackers are forced to attack him first. So you got that auto taunt, SPM's auto heal as well, just a nice passive heal as well as the amount of damage that he can do. You have taunt removal, lifesteal, turn meter gain. This is a fantastic defense team. Good on offense as well. Really good on defense. So that's just a fun team. As you can see, Starpharaoh Marvin, the best, I swear. In my opinion, he is the best single tune in the game. If you don't have him, make sure you do. He should be, in my opinion, one of the first legendaries that you go for. But you have Yokai Taz, Opat, Revenant Roadrunner, and Devil Dog, who are the PTL tunes required for Starpharaoh Marvin there. Yokai Taz is also part of the Fiends team. So having him, as well as Opat, part of the Fiends team as well. And then Devil Dog as an alternate for the Scoundrels. So you have some great PTL tunes there also. Next, we're going to go into the Divine team. This is a fun team where you just have so many, I swear, never-ending revives. The attack ups, the AoE damage on each revive, Hermes, permanent speed ups. The faster he goes, the more speed ups he gives, the more revives he can give, the more buff he can give. There's just this team is just a lot of fun to play. This is more of an offense team than a defense team. I have seen this team on defense, and they're okay. They do fairly well, but really this team is more offense than defense. So this is a fun team. K9, Anubis K9 did not previously have a PTL. We do have one coming up here in November. So at the time of this recording, which we are October 30th, 2021, we will have a PTL for Anubis coming up. All right. Next, we have the Villains team. So this team is a good counter to the Hero team. What I have down here, so we have some damage over time, not major, but we do have some damage over time. Good hero counter, especially with Rapscallions damage immunity removal for the entire team over there. That helps a lot. You got Granny, who has a chance to revive. You have Nova, who does some massive damage as well as some heals. This is a great all-around team. It's a fun team to play around with. Evo Granny is your legendary for that. And then you can see the PTL tunes required there. Desperado Dog, Supersonic Hopper, Rapscallion, and Sylvester Jr. I really don't have any alternates for this team. That team is what it is. And it's a pretty fun team to have. The Aristocrats, this one is a lot of fun. It's got some massive undodgeable counters, which is good against the Dodge team. You got some nice defense buffs. So the Dodge, the damage over time teams and the dodge teams, this team works well against. The reason why it works well against the damage over time team is because on the damage over time, you are relying on those damage over time buffs to stack up. Once you hit, in this team, I think it's 3. Once you hit more than 3 of the same debuff, it gets removed. So that's why this team is so good up against the damage over time team. So Countess Penelope is the legendary for this. Currently, right now, as of recording this video, is in the Battle Pass. No PTL yet for Countess Penelope right now. And there's no alternate tunes. This team is what it is. We have the Heroes team, which is a lot of fun. This team is a damage immunity team, and it's good on defense. It's got some nice damage output. Great as a defensive team. Super Rabbit is the PTL for that one. And then you can see over there in the PTL, the required tunes, who's required for that. And then finally, number 10, we have the Fiends team. This team is a lot of fun. This is what I call my constant crit team. We have a ton of crits with this team, which does a ton of damage. You got Yokai Taz, who once if he eliminates an opponent, he gets some additional turn meter so he can go more. So you have massive crits. You got some buff steals that trigger AoE damage. Basically what happens is when you steal a buff, you have Monster Tweety that goes in there and does some nice AoE damage. You got life steal. So what I like to do with this team, and why I have it in there an alternate for Vampire Ralph, is he gives Fiends life steal. So this team does not have a healer. So I swap out Mike for Vampire Ralph so that the team can do some life steal to keep their health good. That's my favorite team there. Their Spotlight team is okay, but I think Ralph does a fantastic job in there. Now, with the horror team and everything that we have coming up, he might find a different spot in there. But I really like him with the Fiends, so that's where the lifesteal comes in. He's a lot of fun. Monster Tweety, you can see right there the PTL tunes required for that. Whew! That is what we have. Those are my top 10 best teams in Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. The reasons for you can see right there as well. The list is not going to be made available for anybody to download just yet. There are some additions and everything that I want to make sure that is done before I make this available to the public to go ahead and download. But you see currently in testing again right there, Pirates and Horror team. We also have the Wrestler team that is on its way coming out right now. And we got so many other teams coming. And then future updates. The next one I want to do is make sure I get team counters. So these are great. These are great teams, the top 10 best teams. But what are the counters for these teams? What should you be looking at so that you can beat these teams in Arena, and Alliance War, and Brawl? All right, I'm very curious. What are your thoughts on this list? If your favorite team is not on this list, who is your favorite team? And just regardless of that, who's your favorite team and why? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me also know who are your best counters for this team, because I'd like to have that, because as we go on and mature this list, I'd really like to have community input on this as far as counters and things like that, to make this more of a community list and just kind of us working together to get this out. I think that's a lot of fun. All right, everybody, that is what I had for you. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.